Hello and welcome to this week's Mounties Midweek. I'm Drew Patrick. This week we go players only and talk with the captains from the field hockey team, discuss broken records and debuts, and I go out of my league with the field hockey team. The women's soccer team opened up the John Schaefer era Thursday against Bloomsburg. The ladies dropped a 2-0 decision to the Huskies. Rachel Fox had 5 saves, and Bria Bittiger, Brianna Murphy, and Megan Noon each registered shots for Mansfield.
I've been saying all night, Rome wasn't built in a day. We came in with a philosophy we were going to do certain things with the ball, and the girls did it. They attempted it. We made mistakes doing it, but if we would not have attempted it, we're never going to get where we want to go. I'm being a little vague, don't want to give too much away, but I asked the girls to do something to play a professional style, and they did it. Made one little mistake, gave up a brilliant second goal, bit of a lucky one from like 40 yards out, but they really did the right things, and so it's a stepping stone. Overall, very, very happy.
The ladies returned to the pitch Saturday as they welcomed Pitt Johnstown. The first half coming out of a goal kick. To Bittiger.
Ooh, good footwork.
A spin, and this one ahead. And Biddle, quicker. She might have another shot here. This one popped up. And this is a goal for Mansfield.
Yeah, I like it.
The game was tied at the end of regulation. The first minute of overtime, the long shot is good. The women fall to 0-2, but they return to the pitch on Wednesday to face Shippensburg. The cross-country team opened their season this past Thursday in Bloomsburg. The women's race was first. Kenzie Jones and Lindsay Payne finished 1 and 2 with a 16:14 and 16:24 time respectively on the 4K course. Freshman Haley Weidenhammer was the third Mansfield runner to cross the line at 19:07, followed by Rochelle Myers at 19:24. On the men's side, another 1-2 finish for the Mountaineers. Ryan Clifford took that top spot with a 4K time of 13:02, and Quincy Amabile was right behind with 13:17. After 3 Huskies came in to finish, Jordan Holmes turned on the Jets and passed 3 runners to finish 6th with a time of 13:57. Travis Keefe took 7th with 14:02, and Ryan Morissette rounded out the Mansfield contingent with 14:31. Mansfield would take the duel with a score of 26-29. The Mountaineers return home to host the Mansfield Duels September 8th. Mansfield Athletics gets into full swing this week. Take a look at some of the upcoming contests. We're going to take a quick break. Sports talk on the other side. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back here to Mounties Midweek. This is Sports Talk, and we are joined by 2 captains of the Mansfield field hockey team, Gabby Heber and Brittany Ryan. Thank you both so much for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So let's briefly go back last year. 8-10 on the year, a good amount of wins here. What is the next step for you guys? As we've been on this kind of upscale since Brittany Hansrow has gotten here. Gabby, you've seen this upscale for most of the years. Brittany, you have too. What is the next step for you guys?
Just to keep winning games, keep getting better, keep improving every year, statistically, and just overall wins wise, I think is our main goal.
Yeah, but I think everyone's on the same page this year that we definitely want to make playoffs because we were like a game or 2 short last year. So I think that that's like our main goal this year is definitely to make playoffs.
And one of the highlights last year, one of the top defenses in the country, of course, your All-American goalie here. But how do you keep that defense and where it was last year going into this year?
It's going to be hard because we did lose Emily Blaggy. But I think just overall working on communication and doing specific defense drills just to work on like our connection with each other and knowing where each other tends to play and how each other plays, and how we can communicate effectively is key for us.
Our defense is always really strong. We have a strong core in there and a strong nucleus, so they're always working hard, pushing each other, and we have good leadership there too, obviously with Britt. So I think that it'll be tough, but I think that our defense will definitely still be a strong point for us.
And then on the other side, offensively, you guys were working in the practice that I've got to see, working a lot offensively. What improvements do you guys need to make to be able to get some of those games?
I think that we just need to take more risks in the circle and just be able to take more shots. I think that that's something that we always stress, is just we play with it a little bit too much, so we just need to be able to rip shots wherever. Like, that'll challenge ourselves, change it up, have versatility in the circle. I think that that'll help us a lot offensively.
We had opportunities last year,
Yeah.
but we struggled to finish.
Yeah.
So I think definitely just capitalizing on those opportunities we do have.
Because we have a strong offense. We just need to capitalize more and finish.
And Gabby, midfield, you're pretty much everywhere on the field. How important, I mean, obviously conditioning is important, especially at your position, but how important is it to be on page with both the offense and defense, especially at that mid?
It's crucial. You got to be able to work with both the defense and offense, be able to control the field and the midfield. So just being on the same page with both our D and offense is super important, and it's kind of like the midfield's job to hold that down, have the mid-ground of the field. So it's crucial.
And Brittany, in goal, anything new coming for you this year? Of course, a couple new faces there right in front of you. How has your role changed, or has it changed at all from last year to this year?
Just kind of trying to get the newbies on the same page as us, freshmen and new players that are going to be on the defensive and midfield line, and just getting everybody to work together as a cohesive unit.
And of course, you guys are coached by Brittany Hansrow. Her being a Mansfield alum, how does that help you guys? Because, you know, she went through pretty much the same things that you guys are going through. How does that help you?
I think that it's even like a little bit more personal for her. Just the fact that she has the pride of the fact that she was an All-American here. She just really wants to do the best for the program. So I think like the fact that she has that personal connection makes her even more passionate about it. So I think that really helps her.
Yeah, I think her passion for the
Yeah.
game as a whole and
as a
Mansfield,
whole.
just really helps us and encourages us and makes us want to win for not only us but for her as well.
And she went through ups and downs in the program as well, so she knows what it's like, and she wants to get us like to the top.
And what would you describe her coaching style as for you guys? Is it lead by example? Is it like hands-on teaching? What would you describe her coaching style as?
I think she's a really hands-on teacher. A lot of like new drills that she introduces to us, she actually goes through herself and shows by example and really breaks it down bit by bit so that the girls have a really clear understanding of what's going on.
Yeah, she's really hands-on.
And another new face you guys have on the coaching staff, and it's very interesting because not a year ago you were competing against Chardonnay Hope, and now she's a coach. What is that dynamic? I asked her last week about this dynamic, and she said that it works, but from your guys' point of view, having someone you competed against not a year ago, how is that now as a coach?
I think it's really good because the fact that she did just play last year, like she knows all the teams that we're playing against very well. She was just playing against them a year ago. That was her competition. So just to see it from her point of view, and like she's like a year older than me, so just to have that young point of view where she can kind of relate more, it's nice to have. So she has great experience, adds a lot of good tips and pointers, so it's nice having her.
Yeah, her knowledge of the PSAC is going to be crucial for us. And especially as a goalie, she had that offensive perspective coming down on her, and then also, what it takes to have a good defense and work as a unit. I
mean, I have to mention this. The weird also dynamic with you specifically and her, kind of the back and forth with the all-conference and then all-American thing. But so, especially having a coach who was a goalie, how has that helped you?
Oh, tremendously. I'm learning so much from her. Goalkeeping is a really personalized, I feel like, position. Everybody has their own unique style of how they want to play it, and learning from her and getting her perspective on things is awesome for me. Coach did before work on like having goalie knowledge and stuff, but having an actual goalkeeper of her talent has just been amazing for me.
So the season starts this week. You guys have a bit of a road trip going up to New Haven, Connecticut. Let's start with that second game first, because you're traveling up there. It's pretty much a home contest. It is a home contest for them.
Yeah.
That long travel, you will have a game to break it up, but that long travel, is that going to be a challenge for you, or how do you face that?
Not too much. I mean, most of our games are relatively just as far. I think this one's like maybe an hour further than what we're used to. I mean, it's gonna take minor adjustments, but I think that we're prepared enough that it really won't have too much of an effect on us. So I'm not concerned with the travel aspect. I think that we're ready. So
Yeah, the freshman will be their first experience.
yeah, that's
traveling.
true.
But we're pretty good as a team of holding each other accountable and making sure we take care of ourselves. So I think it won't be a problem for us.
And then going back out of order, let's go back to that first game. It's a neutral site. Now, you're playing at the home field for Southern Connecticut State, that second team. But the first matchup is a neutral site type field. So does that change the dynamic at all? That you won't really have a crowd, a big crowd behind that team?
I just think it just doesn't give any advantage to either team, either way. Like, it might give Southern Connecticut a slight advantage because that's their turf. They practice on it all the time. But other than that, I don't really think it matters. We're just going to come out and play how we normally play. So
Definitely not having a crowd will equal the playing field for us for
Yeah.
the first matchup.
And so, you guys are the captains, as I mentioned. How important has your role been this year with a couple of the new recruits coming in?
I think it's been a crucial role, just helping them adjust and showing them the ropes, kind of. But we've also had a lot of people step up on the team, and especially my class is bigger, and then Gabby and Amber as our seniors have been great leaguers. So everybody has kind of jumped in and helped them adjust.
All right, well, thank you so much for stopping by here.
Thank you for having us.
And as I mentioned, they start this weekend as they travel up to Connecticut for a couple teams back to back. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back with more after this.
I think that the strengths of the program are the professors.
Actively care about making you a better teacher.
To go into the schools from your freshman year.
But we're in the classroom almost every semester that we are here at Mansfield.
Welcome back here. Let's talk some cross country now as we're joined by Kenzie Jones. Kenzie, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
So before we get into this year, let's talk briefly about last year. Finishing 20th at the regionals, a good year. What can you take from that year moving forward into this year?
I can definitely take the experiences of our conference meet and the regional meet, and I can definitely take that into this year. Just really working on more in the conference and in the region, and definitely working with my teammates to just make us a better team.
And how much of a benefit is it? Because you're you could say tri-sport athlete because it's indoor, outdoor, and cross country. How much of a benefit is that you are pretty much training year-round and competing year-round? How does that help with your training?
It's huge. It's definitely, every time we have a meet, it's like another benchmark. And once we get past that benchmark, we can just continue on with our training and just really nail down anything that needs to be addressed.
And cross country is a unique sport in the fact that it's a team sport, but it's also a very individual sport. So where's that balance, especially in practices, or when you want to practice with your time, but you also want to see how the team's going? Where is that balance?
Yeah, so definitely I see where you get the individual team dynamics. So it's really great where you can really have individual goals, but you can still have that team atmosphere and the team goals as well.
Yeah, and you know what? The first sign of this team, or the first showing of this team, was last week at the Husky Invitational, and you guys took 1 and 2 in the race, you and Lindsay Payne. How'd you feel on that first race?
I think I felt really good personally, and I think our team really performed well too. It was really hot, so we really gave it our all, and the outcome that we got was really well.
And Lindsay Payne there from Mansfield, a local product, but actually kind of pushing you a little bit. How much of a benefit there in training and races is it to have someone on your team that's right behind you pushing you?
Yeah, Lindsay is a huge benefit, and I really enjoy having her on the team. And we do our workouts together and most of our runs together, and she definitely pushes me to be a better runner and a better teammate, and I'm just really thankful for her.
So early season, that was the first race of the year. We have one coming up here at home. But before we get into that, another thing that's interesting, and it depends on who I talk to with runners, and the early season strategy. Because you want to reach a time, you want to push, but you don't want to go too hard, and you don't want to peak early in the season. So what is your focus? Maybe not so much the team, but your specific focus, early season strategy.
Early season strategy really just revolves around just really fine-tuning things for the beginning of the real competitions. Our early season races are just really tune-ups, really seeing how far we can push ourselves before we get to the bigger races.
Do you find that to be strange, though? Because I honestly, your cross-country seems to be the only sport where that kind of entails, where, hey, the first ones, I mean, I don't want to say you don't care about place, but really the focus is on improving. So explaining that to people, is that a hard thing to do?
Not really, just because cross country is, like you said, it's an individual and a team sport. But when you look at the individual, you just want to see how far you can push yourself. So at the beginning, you're just getting your benchmark, and that's definitely, you have that benchmark to help you along with the bigger races.
And so this week, as I mentioned, running here at home, it's the 8th. Come out and support your cross-country team. But how much of a benefit is it to run on that course, especially early season where you can train, but you're comfortable with that course?
Yeah, so definitely we're all very excited to be racing at home 5K. It's definitely a step up from last week when we ran 4K, so I'm very excited to be looking into what kind of a 5K time everyone on the team can put out. It's really awesome to be at home on the 5K course. Just really looking forward to it.
And another thing, bittersweet moment it's going to be, granted very early on in the year, but senior day, as it is the only home meet of the year. Do you think, what are your emotions going to be for senior day?
Senior day, very excited, just happy to celebrate the past 4 years with my teammates and my family. I'm just really looking forward to having a good race, and yeah. Yeah,
by the time outdoor track season comes, you'll be all tuckered out with senior days, having won pretty much every semester or every season here. So looking at the season as a whole, let's start with the team. What is the team goal for you guys?
The team goal, I think we've been pegged at 14th for the PSAC, and as always, we're trying to really make our mark, do better than what we've been predicted. Just really excited about this group of girls that we have. We seem to be working really well together, and everybody has good training partners to keep them accountable and really pushing them in workouts. So I'm definitely excited to see what our team can do this year.
Now, especially cross country, I don't know if there's really an underrated, overrated type thing, but being at 14th, can you guys fly under the radar and surprise some people, especially when you get to those bigger meets and they're like, wow, there's a huge pack of Mansfield runners right here?
Sure, why not? We have lots of girls who've been improving even since we've gotten here, so we're excited to see where our freshmen and any newcomers can really push themselves too, and even the people that have been on the team for a few years now. We're just excited to see the improvements that we'll make.
And then you individually, this year, what are your goals?
My goals this year, I just want to have fun with it. I want to see if I can better my performances from last year, but I just really want to focus on my teammates and really pushing them and just everybody achieving their goals.
Well, Kenzie, thank you so much for stopping by here.
Yeah, thank you.
And the cross-country season, get a chance to check out their home meet this Saturday, the 8th. You won't want to miss it. Thank you so much. We will be right back after this.
In NCAA Division II, student athletes leave a lasting impression on their communities. That's because Division II student athletes want to make a difference and truly be part of their surrounding communities. Through community engagement, thousands of student athletes from various backgrounds interact with community members who view them as role models. This interaction leaves a positive and perhaps even life-changing impression on all those involved. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Welcome back here with more sports talk. We continue to talk cross country as we're now joined by Ryan Clifford of the men's side. Thank you so much for stopping by.
No problem.
So let's start briefly with last year before we get into this year. Fall Athlete of the Year for your cross country performance last year. What can you take from that year going forward this year?
You know, I take a lot of what I did last year and I'm trying to implement it in my training this year. So I look at like those awards, like the Fall Athlete of the Year, and I try to use it as kind of a motivation factor. People are going to be looking at me, try to be the leader. So trying to take that stuff and kind of go into the season like knowing that people are looking at me in that sense.
You know, it's unique too, and I talked to Kenzie about this, that you guys train pretty much year round because you have the chance to train as a team year round with both indoor and outdoor track. How much of a benefit is that?
It's good and bad. It's definitely awesome being able to have kind of like the same or similar sport training, but it definitely puts a toll on your body, especially going and training from the summer, which is kind of the main source of strength you get for the cross-country season. So bringing that strength into the cross-country season is definitely is good, but it's also difficult in the sense that you're kind of tiring yourself out before the season even starts.
Yeah, you don't want to peak early. This year, this team, and you guys ranked 13th as a team. That frustrated you guys.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So how do you use that as motivation throughout the year?
Yep, so it's kind of the classic story of like the underdogs. People aren't really looking to us, but we did just beat in our dual meet at Bloomsburg, the Bloomsburg who was ranked 7th. So being able to beat them and overcome them definitely shows where we can kind of place ourselves in the PSAC championship meet.
And of course, along with the team, it's a very mixed bag sport because you have the team aspect and you have the individual aspect of it. So in terms of training, how do you focus on both? Or is there a way that you can focus on both? Because you want to work together as the team to get those team points, but you also want to make sure that you individually are going where you're supposed to.
Yep, so the biggest thing with cross country, honestly, it sounds kind of confusing, but your 4th and 5th runners are your most important scorers in the team. So being able to close the gap for your third runner, like your 3rd, 4th, and 5th runner, being able to get them closer to the finishers of the 1st and 2nd runner, make the overall team score less, which is, of course, in a cross-country race, the way you would win. So definitely having the ability to have your first couple runners score and run as fast as they can, but also keeping the other runners motivated, kind of keeping on the tail end is very important. And it's something that it's ever challenging because in workouts you have to do different things. Some people have different strengths. So just kind of keeping that stuff in mind while you are participating in the sport and kind of coming into the season, you just want to make sure that is kind of kept in the back burners.
And speaking of that training and learning your different strengths, the Tour de Mountaineer in the off season, one of the traditions here, and you had yourself quite the performance, and especially that last event, the Colton Point time trial, the new record holder for that, and didn't beat a slouch there. Chris Cummings, the last All-American that cross country's had. What did that mean to you to be able to finish beating that record?
Yeah, so for me personally, my summer training really was, it's been kind of inconsistent the last couple of years, but I kind of really hit it home this summer. I didn't get injured. I was very strong, and where I worked at a Boy Scout summer camp, I had hills the whole entire time, so I was very strong. I knew I was coming into the season, coming into the Tour de Mountaineer, I had the hill strength, and being able to beat Chris Crummon's record is definitely an honor, knowing kind of where he brought the program from where it was to where it is today. So kind of being able to do that kind of sets me up, I think, for a great season. And I actually chatted with him because he works at the university now, and he was very happy for me, and he wants me to keep trying to get records because it definitely shows kind of where Coach Roll has taken the program from many years ago when he started.
Absolutely. And another one of those milestones you mentioned earlier, getting that win in that dual meet with Bloomsburg, able to finish 1 and 2 Mansfield individually. You were the one in that factor. So from that race, how did you feel in that first race of the year?
Yep. I know for me, individually, I felt a little disappointed because of kind of where I was. I thought I was going to be a little bit faster. But for the team aspect, I thought it was very awesome that we were able to make such a great impact, especially in the beginning of the season. But there were other factors like weather and stuff like that. It felt like 87 degrees, so it was a little warm for a cross-country race, but it was very cool.
I think a lot of people don't realize how much the weather does affect the race. What is your ideal weather? I always loved running in the cold, but I think I might have been in the minority there. What's your ideal weather that you want to go out and you think, if it's this outside, I'm going to have a dang good race?
Yeah. So I am a fan of, and I know a lot of my teammates are too, but racing in the worst conditions possible. So if it's snowing, if it's really windy, raining really hard, low 40s, I think that's the ideal cross-country weather. So we were kind of thrown for a loop, especially at Bloomsburg,
Quite the opposite.
Where it was the super sunny day, high humidity, and then the temperature was really scorching.
So also at that Bloomsburg invite, I don't know if you had a chance to see, because you might have been cooling down or recovering at the moment, but Jordan Holmes, at the end of that race, really to get you guys that victory, that kick at the end, when you know that you have a teammate, especially in that third, fourth spot of runner who has a kick like that and can get people at the end of races, how important is that for the team?
I think it's funny because our 4 or 5 right now, or 3, 4, 5 is Jordan, Travis, Ryan, not in that order, but Jordan's kind of coming as being a senior. It sets kind of the example, and kind of leading the aspect, me leading kind of by the front and him kind of leading in the middle, kind of sets a good tone for the team. And he won't let anyone beat him. In easy runs, we'll have a race at the end, and he'll always be the first one. So that competitive spirit kind of translating over and being something that if I was racing against him, and I am racing, but if I was right next to him, I would not want to be with him right at the finish line, because I know I'm not going to get beat, because he'll definitely gut it out and give everything he got at the finish line.
And this is the early season. We have just the second meet of the year coming up this weekend. It's home. But before we get into that, I'm always interested, especially cross country, at the early season strategy, because it's unique in the fact that, I don't want to say that position and place doesn't matter, because that's not true, but in a sense, it's less focused on that. What is your early season strategy?
So most of the time cross country isn't as long, but in particular this year it's kind of a unique set of circumstances where our conference meet is November and early November, and then our regional meet is kind of mid-November, where our the national meet would be in I think early December. So it's a very later kind of time frame. So trying to be able to adapt in regards to that and actually kind of make it work. So you do want to kind of put your best foot forward, literally, when you are training. But you also have to keep in mind, if you give everything you got in every single race, then you're going to kind of be burnt out. So it's kind of just a fine balancing act. But I think kind of, as you mentioned earlier, being able to focus and kind of hone in on getting the team closer together in regards to training and racing and kind of finishing closer as a team will definitely make your team better. So kind of focusing on those aspects of the team is very important to me. And I know a lot of other guys think that as well for the earlier parts of the season.
And with that in mind, this week at home, of course, it's your home meet of the year, so you want to have a great performance in front of people who can come out over there. but you have to have that delicate balance. What do you expect this week?
I'm hoping we're going to be able to replicate our results similar to what we did at Bloomsburg. And I know most of the guys on the team are actually stronger when the distances get longer. So the event is not opposed to a 4K last week, but now it's going to be a 7-kilometer race. So the extra distance definitely should be able to gap some of the other athletes against.
And then finally here, we'll get you out on this. What are your expectations for both the team and you individually this year?
Yep. So I guess I'll start with the team. Definitely being able to kind of go forth and make people kind of put a name out for Mansfield, I guess you would say. Being able to have an actually really phenomenal season and kind of turn some heads, finishing hopefully 7-8 at the conference meet. And then even taking that further and finishing hopefully 7-8, because we do add a couple teams from like West Virginia into the regional meet, but still being able to finish kind of at that level. So even hopefully beating some other teams. It is going to be a new course at Slippery Rock this year, so not something I have raced before. I've raced at Slippery Rock several times.
No more castle.
But yeah, there's no castle, so it'll be interesting to see how that course is. Hopefully, I haven't looked at it yet, but hopefully it's hilly, because I know most of the guys are very strong in the hills, because we have the fortune of being able to run in the valley for our easy days, and then we can take it out on either side of the mountain to be able to train for that. But for me, hopefully I can lead the team in that regard, and my goal is to make it to hopefully the national meet in Pittsburgh this year. It will be interesting with the training because it's such a long season, but that's kind of my goal. Finishing top 3 for the individuals would definitely secure my spot there. So hopefully doing that would be something I kind of have been setting my sights towards and been training for the last 4 years. So.
All right, well, best of luck this year.
Thank you so much.
And Sports Talk rolls on after this. Don't go anywhere.
The mission in general, what we try to do is to prepare our students for a professional career in criminal justice, whether that be policing, courts, corrections, some related field. We don't offer just simply courses that are related to some of the issues in the criminal justice system. We actually provide a skill.
You look so happy. I'm preparing for my impending doom. I say that every day, but I feel like today is different because I might actually end up dying. Hey everybody, I'm Drew Patrick. This is the Mansfield field hockey team, and today I am out of my league. About to suit up, join the field hockey team in goal for the moment, and most likely. Well, this is taking a bit long. Let's just skip ahead. Only took
It's only like 7. Okay.
All right. We started off pretty simple with line jumps, which even the goalies admitted they hated, so that's good.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know. Our mates are like serving the tune right now. I'll let you know.
Alright, so we can have our actual goalie stepping in, kind of showing Drew the ropes, and then we'll let him give it a go.
After Brittany told me how to even stand, it was time for my moment.
Center there, bud. There you go.
All right!
Go! You better kill it! Let's go, Michaela!
Clearly, the entire team was against me.
That wasn't bad. Not bad. Look at the reaction time there. That was a good stroke. Yeah. Come on. Come on. Stop putting pressure on me. Yes. Tap it. He's ready to go here. How many more you want?
It's tapping mainly out of shame, not really out of any intimidation.
Nice. All right, let's.
I'll get one maybe in about 10 years. So the first go, a complete and utter failure.
I feel really bad about myself. All right, one more person want to go? Yeah, me. Try and go. Okay, yeah.
All against me? All right.
Yeah, Gibby. Come on, Gibby. Yeah, get a little stroke. If I completely whiff it. Can we get...
Get that out of So naturally, due to how wonderful that first performance was, we decided let's see if the coaches can score on the brick wall that is Drew Patrick. I'll take it! I'll take it!
Okay, that was
I know,
fun.
like that long pause. I was like,
Hold on, now I'm not ready.
Get with the program!
Like, I'm so out. I thought Sharks talked about me. Oh, shoot. No, I did the same thing.
because I can't use the stick.
Who's got it? Get it on me. Right? Yes.
Oh
my God!
You know what? That wasn't us.
A moral victory is still a victory. Boy, I'm still tired. I had a couple minutes to catch my breath and I'm still tired. All right, you guys, it's time to be brutally honest. On a grading scale, A to F, what would you grade my performance?
I give you a C+.
All right, I'll take it. I'll take the C+.
I mean, I'm a little less generous. It's just like a flat C.
All right. Hey, C's get degrees. That's what I hear. So, overall, good job. You guys have a really hard job.
Thanks for having us. Yeah, it was
Thanks for having me on.
It was okay.
Helping me put on all this stuff and.
Oh, it's just weird because it's basically second nature to us to just put everything on and get in the net and then just watching someone else try to do it for the first time. It's like, all right, this is probably what we look like when we're little things.
So I'm no defensive fiend, but let's try, on the offensive end of things, a little stick handling.
Drew on here. No! Oh, yeah! Okay. Woo! Keep going. Yeah! That was good.
All right.
Very good. Okay. Drew, a hand.
On a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the best, what do we give them? 3. Honestly, his stick skills are better than mine. I give him a 5. I give him a solid 4 or 5.
So on a grade scale, A to F.
Not bad.
On a grade scale, A to F.
Better than C+.
You can be brutal.
C's get degrees. You got a C+.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Which I think we figured out that with field hockey, I'm out of my league. It is time for the return of Play of the Week. Make sure you check Mountie All Access on Twitter to vote for your favorite. So this week, our first play comes from Thursday in cross country. Jordan Holmes trying to dig deep and move up 3 spots to earn Mansfield the win in the dual meet. And play number 2 comes from Saturday. Take the goal kick. This one
Big kick.
is ahead to Bittiger.
Ooh, good footwork.
A spin, and this one ahead, and Biddle quicker. She might have another shot here. This one popped up, and this is a goal for Mansfield.
Yeah, I like it.
So there it is. Our first battle is between the two different types of kicks. You can vote on Twitter for your pick to take play of the week, and results will be revealed next week. And that's all we have for you this week. To stay up to date on Mansfield Athletics, head over to GoMounties.com. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.